Hi, Candace here. This is my vlog for April 12th, 2010, the week of April 12th. And it's the first week back from spring break, and I have to say, it was not as bad as I anticipated, discipline-wise. I have noticed that as far as discipline goes and being able to stay on task, my worst class is my advanced choir. It's comprised of maybe 12 or 13 students, and it's just, they're not rude, they're not belligerent, they just literally, I think they lack the ability in their genetics to sit still and stop talking. And they're very comfortable in the classroom. You can tell that they're uninhibited, and they're very friendly, but they have not quite learned that there is a time and a place for that. And unfortunately, it's very hard for me to teach that. My goal is not to teach that necessarily, but to maybe give them some sort of incentive to do that, to maybe choose a little bit better, hey, maybe this is a time where I can't talk and this is a time where I can. I have to admit that one of my piano lab classes is one that is particularly difficult discipline-wise because I have a lot of boys in there that are very, very just undisciplined, very rowdy. I did come up with a solution for making the class go a lot better and making them pay attention, and a lot of it was just busy work. Making worksheets for them to do, and this is general music, of course, this is not chorus. Filling up about half of the time of work done in class as a group. This also helped me assess them better. I noticed that we were not doing enough formative assessment, seeing, not only assessing what they knew at the end of the class period, but going back and reviewing stuff that we'd done before to see how much they're actually retaining. Because a lot of these students did not do well in the first exam, partly because I don't think they can't discipline themselves very well and sit still, and they don't want to do work. They're extremely difficult to motivate. But two, I don't think we gave them enough work to do to practice the skills that we were asking them to learn. That was something that I have learned that I needed to do more of. As far as in choir, we will begin to do some singing exams, maybe a performance rubric, having some students not necessarily demonstrate basic singing skills, but demonstrate acquisition of certain parts of a song. Have they learned their part? Can they sing it on their own? Can they sing it in maybe a trio, because most of the music that we do is soprano, alto, baritone. And that will be a really good incentive to get our kids to be more motivated in class to learn the music, because right now there are no incentives like that except for the intrinsic ones, which are, this will make you feel good if you sing it, don't you want to be the best choir you can be. That doesn't work with our students. I've learned that we really have to dangle the carrot a little bit. We really have to try to provide some real tangible incentives, especially grades. Grades in some cases really do matter because unfortunately, choir and most arts classes are seen as easy A's. And, sorry, there's lots of bugs. Forgive me, Dr. Parks, there are lots of bugs around here. But they're seen as classes where you can get an easy A, and I remember we talked about this in class last time. How do we change that? How do we make this seem like a more real class, if you will? And part of it's going, giving them something, some real feedback. Here's a piece of paper with a grade on it. Here's how you're doing. It gives them, more of a heads up during the semester to know, I'm not doing so well in this class. If I were to give them a performance exam, they need to know measures maybe 10 through 25 of this piece, and they get a B or a C on it. They know that by the next performance exam, they need to do a much better job in order to raise their grade. So I think that's something that I would like to implement with my students, because I think it'll motivate them in ways that just simple encouragement has not been effective enough in doing. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next week.